Hey friends, I have something a little bit different today. A few months ago, one of my favorite games ever when I was a kid, well, it has a Kickstarter. It's coming back. Everything's shipping out. My stuff actually just arrived at my brother's place. I'm just waiting to hang that out or pick that up. But I just thought I'd do a little bit of a mail haul. I haven't done one of these. I'm creeping closer to completing my a full Overpower card game set. And with that Kickstarter coming out, I figured there's probably not a lot of Overpower content, just since it's a game that's coming back and the original game's been gone for a while. So I just figured I would go over here and share some of my pickups, some things that I'm kind of collecting right now that's not magic. My cat is on my feet now. I kind of peeked at some of these just a little bit, and then I was like, hey, let's look at these. So some of them I opened from the envelope, and then I haven't actually looked at them yet. So it's always interesting to see how different people pack things up. This one seems pretty solid. I had one the other day that was taped to a Betty Crocker, like the back of a box, which is fine. It's cardboard. I say reuse this stuff, so this one's in there pretty securely, so we'll see what is in this package. Alright, so these are some Spawn cards from the Image Overpower set. It was one of the last ones. This one came out like 99 or something. It's pretty old at this point, let's say 98. So I was a little 13-year-old kid back then. I really bought this because there was one card in here that I just wanted another copy of for some decks, and that's right here, this Protector of the Innocent. It's a great card. Lets Spawn our teammate avoid attacks. So this old game has lots of unique mechanics. A lot of the cards don't go for a whole lot. This one still sees a lot of play in the few little local tournaments that are held around the country, and I needed one more copy, and I found it for just a little bit cheaper than I can find it if it's here on eBay. If it's there on eBay, if it's on like the Orange King website, which is the kind of the go-to store for people collecting Overpower. If you're interested in that, like go give them a shout out. Go check them out. Larry's a cool guy. He runs the site. This one I peeked into it. This is the one actually that came connected to the Betty Crocker thing. So I got as far as this. I don't know what's in the middle of it. I didn't order these Azrael or Bane cards, so that must have just been like bulk that they attached there as something to kind of just protect the card in transit. So there we go. That's the one I picked up. I'm almost done with the classic Overpower set, which is the last one that they released. Man, some of this art, it's so funny because all this art in the Image set, or at least for Spawn, like that's cool, like just great art, and then you have this art, and we can look at these DC cards, which I've just never had a big connection with DC, and they have like a certain style that I've never really jived with. So I don't love this art, but like it's technically good. Like it's fine. It's just not something that I really enjoy. But I do appreciate on these DC ones they actually say the name of the character on here. I think that's something that sometimes can be confusing for some things. Maybe a little redundant on a card like Bane. So yeah, we take a look at this art, and well, that's a face. And that's a saber-tooth tiger. But I didn't have that Kazar card, and so I figured I'd just pick it up. Have a couple. This next one is a little bit more interesting. I got as far as kind of taking it apart, and that's when I realized I'm like, sometimes this is just fun to share. I'll just little note. Wow, that's some really fantastic handwriting from Brad, the eBay seller I picked this up from. So this is a little kind of a foil. It's about the size of a comic book. I saw a little bit on eBay. This is a comic book backer board I use as a little, almost like a white box for shooting pictures. This is just like a little foil Overpower thing from Wizard Magazine, which, man, I wish there was something like Wizard Magazine still. So we'll just take that out and take a look at it. It's nice little foil. I've always enjoyed this art. Like a lot of the then Spider-Man, I have to say his face looks kind of stretched there. I'd have to compare that to the actual card here. So like we can see that his face here is stretched. So they did a little bit of wonkiness here. It's super fun. It's super 90s. It kind of makes me think of like the loading screen on like a Super Nintendo game. I'll just I'm gonna set that one just aside over here. Well, let's get it all connected to tape. Let's move this packaging out. Let's move that over here. I'll put that in just do an actual comic book kind of sleeve later. That way it's just a little better protected, or at least more visible to peer through there than that. This next one is actually how I got into collecting cards. The first cards I ever got as a kid was like a Ninja Turtles set based on the old 80s, like from 1989, the animated series that came out when I was 3 or 4. My mom helped me collect a whole set. I still have it. It's basically mint. Apparently they don't go for anything. I figured they would have been like just completely destroyed by kids, which is what I did to mine. But this is an action figure. I first got into collecting Marvel cards because action figures on the back of the blister pack, they used to come with trading cards, and so that's where we would get most of our cards because there was no card shops around us. The nearest place I knew that sold them was like a Toys R Us, and that was 25 miles away, and there's no way I'm getting there as a 8-year-old, or however old, 10-year-old, however old I was when Overpower came out. So eventually we just started opening up these action figures, and they started coming with things that we found out were from the card game. So my friend's dad would buy boxes of cards, and we would buy the packs with my allowance or whatever money I saved up. So got this from Empire of the Senses. I'll give them a little shout out, little fun little Jedi little business card. So this a little bit more of an oddity. A few of these I didn't have the actual card for. So here we have a Bone Claws Wolverine. You know, we can come over here and I might even just peel the sticker off because the one behind it is for a KB toy store, not just a little handwritten thing, which was probably, I would bet, at some little local antique store or something. Let's wonder if I can, we'll get that later, but you can kind of see a little bit of the KBs right there. Yeah, so this right here, this comes with this is barely holding on, so it looks like. But yeah, little Bone Claws Wolverine, even though he has adamantium right here, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, there was 4 of these, I believe, that they come with there's an Adam Warlock and 3 others that come with the special. I have the one with the Adam Warlock in my closet, but yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a little bit more of an oddity. I don't really collect action figures anymore. Like I still have a lot of my Star Wars toys as a kid, but they're not something that I actively collect. I find the price on these things are just a little crazy. Now this one I did actually go through just a little bit as far as I kind of grouped some things. This one was a Overpower card lot. Said there's about 540 cards in here. There was, funny enough, I think I'm down to need 21, 23 cards in total from Overpower. So there's probably nothing in here that I'm missing. But there was looked like there was a pretty good mix of cards from some various promos. Mostly probably the first set, Power Surge, Little Mission Control. I did sort these just a little bit just to kind of alphabetize them, but I didn't really look. I didn't spend any time. So yeah, we'll just go through here. This stuck out to me because this is one of the last cards I needed, and I recently just spent like $20 on it, and so I got this whole lot for $25. So I thought, why not? This is this is worth it. I only have a few of these, and my brother plays a little bit, so anything that I don't have or don't need, I'll go through and give those to him. So these Any Heroes, these are just kind of either promos that came in various places. They're kind of fun. This was like a homage to Wizard magazine. I think one of the first Wizards magazines had Spider-Man in a wizard suit like that. I don't know if it was like Wizard 1. Just remember seeing it as a kid. But man, some of this art is... I've heard from the guys who are bringing the game back that a lot of the original art looks really great, and it's the digital stuff on top of it. And that might be the case on some, but like these proportions on this leg, like what is happening? And I love it. I'm here for it. I remember having this card back in the day, but still some of these proportions aren't great. Like this is really simplistic for something that's such a close-up. But I remember chasing these 1 per decks back in the day. Power Surge, this was like the worst set to open. You would open a whole box of it and get like 1 character in it, which was pretty disappointing. So this is a set that I didn't ever have a whole lot of because for whatever reason my friend's dad just couldn't pick it up. So a lot of these I have quite a few copies. I think Bishop was in one of the starter decks. That's something I don't love, where you buy a starter deck and every single one has them. There's tons of them that are sealed. I think I have 4 of the 6 original ones sealed. I could get the other ones pretty easy. They're readily available for $8 to $12, and then he comes in a pack still. So unfortunately, I think they're doing that in the new game too, where like 16 of the characters are going to be in their own starter decks as well, which we'll see. It'll be a little bit more disappointing to get those one in packs, I think. But those packs are going to be draftable, and we won't have those problems with getting 1 character in a box, if you even get one. So it's going to be a lot more fun for kids if you open those than the fun that we had. This art is fantastic, and I love this just teal blue color. It looks so good with the with that background here. I remember chasing some of these cards, like these 1 per decks, and just trading for them. And Colossus, it's kind of a fun little thing where he was wearing his Acolyte stuff because he left the X-Men, but these proportions are super 90s. Some of it I like his face in here, but they do that a lot with big characters anyway, though. But we have him back to his classic here. So I wish there was a little bit more maybe like art direction where I love having different art styles. Something that like Magic cards they get really homogenous. But this is pretty bad. Like even the underneath drawing, it can't look that good. So we have Cyclops here again. It's not great. I wonder if any of this was done with like paints. I believe this is a Joe Gaggenpan. Sorry if I say that wrong. I think this is his favorite card. Man, or at least art. And like I remember watching the X-Men show, and like Cyclops, if he took off his mask, he was or his visor, he's coming for it. I never liked the Jim Lee costume, but this is Overpower in the background, which is fun. The art it's something. What's he doing with those legs? Daredevil, like we're here wearing his 90s metal armor, because everything had to have armor and pockets back then. You can thank Mr. Liefeld for that. There's lots of fun characters. I remember thinking Domino was super cool with a Cable back in the day. And Dr. Octopus, like as a 90s kid, I didn't get to grow up with outside of the cartoon, the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Doc, he was kind of goofy looking. Like he's got this like bowl cut looking thing, and luckily in those Spider-Man movies, oh my gosh, I can't remember the actor's name, but he really crushed it. That was pretty cool seeing him come back for the last Spider-Man movie that was released. Ghost Rider, love it. Danny Ketch version right here. Wish we got some Danny Ketch love. This digital art it's super funny. Just kind of seeing this stuff. Hogwell, he's another one that was in the starter decks. Be cool if there was some Hillshire Farms promos in here too. I'm missing the Spider-Man and Venom, or two of those I'm missing. This, I remember as a kid, this was the last card I needed to complete my base set. And so that's totally a fun memory. So I think that'd be my second copy. But I'll probably just give it to my little brother once I see him, hopefully on the weekend. I met up with him. This guy, there was a couple characters in the set. I think there was like one that was a 766, one that was a 676, and then one that was a 667. These guys were like the big boys. They took up like half of your value for your deck building. Yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get the rest of my Kickstarter stuff from my brother. I just met up with him and he gave me like one box. I'm like, dude, you could have like given me half of my order. Long shot. I didn't even know for a long time he has 3 fingers. If we later on, we'll probably get to power cards, and there's a power card where he has 4 fingers, so it's drawn wrong on the power card. Magneto, love old Eric Lencher. This card is probably one of my favorite cards or arts in the original Overpower set. Yeah, this one actually doesn't look bad for that 90s art. I'll give it to him there. Mandarin, he looks pretty dated right there. This one, that's a face. I loved him when he showed up in the X-Men cartoon, and a lot of that old stuff with like Psylocke and Spiral. Thought it was kind of a fun, kind of weird, crazy idea. Mr. Sinister. I still feel like they've not done anything with him like that is good. I think there's a version of this where his hair is like more silver. I have to see. I don't think that would be that variant. There's a couple that have some printing errors. Mysterio. Always loved him. There was like a 90s Sinister Six video game in. He was like one of the first ones you fought, I think. And he would like teleport around the level, and it felt pretty cool swinging around as Spider-Man. So we have Mystique. I don't really remember the Mystique Sabretooth connection in the 90s, but I haven't read those books in a long time. We have Namor. That's so. Like I think that's a better than a lot of these other ones where it's just, I don't know, it just feels very under-rendered. These proportions are pretty goofy. That's just not really good art right there. I think there's another one I think this one has one where his hair is silver as well. You have Omega Red. Man, this guy, everybody thought he was so cool. He's like the X-Men version of Boba Fett. Just really cool. Shows up, never does anything. Secrete pheromones. He must smell pretty good. Looks like we have an Onslaught promo. There's like a little Onslaught mini set, had like 25 cards in it. It was fun to collect. We have Psylocke back when she was still Elizabeth Braddock. They really, like this is not great. I wonder if she's playable. She was one of my favorites. I'd love to just do like a full X-Men team. I wish that was something that Overpower did a little bit more of, is like making it so you actually played the teams together. The new one, they have like the little location sites, but they don't have ways to really put a team together where like you put there's going to be like Merlin and King Arthur, Morgan Le Fay, and I think Lancelot. This was the second to last card I needed from the base set. But look at these fingers, like nothing straight. Like this fingernail should be just, fingers just, you can't rotate your fingers, so they should all be like this or like this. So that just not a great drawing. Anyways, you can't put all those characters together on a team because like the points just don't fit, and the power grids are all different, which makes sense. But it would be nice if there was a little bit of some ways to put a team of characters that are actually together. Maybe like the full Fantastic Four, and that was kind of fun. I think that something like that would be just kind of cool. I know they're doing like Sherlock and Watson, but I don't think like there's any other characters that would go with them. So shift these suckers over here. Kind of fun seeing these though. His face is a little off-sided, but I like the composition at the very least. This is really, at least these ones, I can really feel like they're trying to, at least these two, they're trying to kind of mimic Kirby a bit. This guy looks like these stone villains from like the Turtles in Time Super Nintendo game. These like rock dudes where their heads are helmets. So Thor, like, this hair is not great, but the costume, like the artist, it's an uphill battle. This Thor is pretty cool. I always thought Thor was a cool character. Never got super into him back when I was a kid, because the X-Men were just cooler. Yeah, this costume, I don't love it. Give him some clothes. My favorite one was the one they did, like the Norse gods all came and lived on Earth. Forget the artist on that run, but his art was pretty fantastic. If you know that, let me know in the comments. War Machine, Wolverine. This card was this is the one you wanted. Everybody wanted this card as a kid, so it's kind of fun to have like one. It looks like it's in a pretty decent shape here. It's also like, what is he doing here? He just stabbing the ground. Who doesn't love Wolverine though? Some of that digital painting. It's really cool how much things have come along. Here we're going to start seeing some of the most janky art. That we're having these proportions like, she wouldn't have a digestive system, but like, what's this angle right here? That angle is as sharp as this card. Nebula's going to kill you with that rib. Just a little basic black cat, don't mind that. Sauron. I wonder if they got the name from Lord of the Rings, because his powers, it just never matches. I love this card. Also, like, just proportion wise, this head should be like over here, so his skull is doing this weird thing here, so it just doesn't make sense. But I love his little bum chin with that kind of bulbous nose. This guy, I have no idea who he is. I've never known it, even as a kid. Century, I think he makes on a few cards. Storm, still, I don't love the Jim Lee design on that. There's a lot of the Jim Lee art, or I love Jim Lee's art. I just didn't really love a lot of the costumes he did. Here is one of those. Just that face. It's like, what is going on with that helmet on her head? The way she's holding that gun doesn't make sense. Like she's looking through it, but it's like resting on. I don't even know what's going on there. Well, maybe it's on her left shoulder, but not how you hold a gun. This one that's pretty notorious. I actually think this one's rendered better than a lot of the cards on it. I don't hate it as much as a lot of the other art, even though it's just really in your face, so you notice it. But I think that this one, at least her, I think she has quite a bit of style to her. This guy, he's not great, but I kind of like the pose. It feels like there's a lot of action. Here's a long shot with 4 fingers instead of 3. So in Power Surge, there's like another version of it, and they zoomed in. Oh, there we go. So they zoomed in, so you couldn't see that mistake with his fingers. Somebody's selling this on eBay as a promo I saw a few months ago, so don't buy it. It's not a mistake or anything. Nightcrawler, like, who doesn't love Nightcrawler? It's kind of interesting how some of these colors are so different. Like This is so like kind of purplish, and this is this really strong blue. Love this card. I think he's fighting Gambit in one of the other images. Another card with Domino on it. Cyber. I mean, this guy, he like broke Wolverine's bone claws and never saw the guy again. Art is, that's something. And, like, this is the eight fighting power card, and this one I'm like, Black Widow, she's doing a thing, she's fighting. He's just like lerp derp. Angel, little Spider-Man punching a random man in the face. You getting off work. Then Cyber's on another card for some reason. Like, I think they just thought we really wanted to see some cyber action. Some cyber. Super Scrolls. Man, I kind of like Scrolls. I really like the Secret Invasion. I stopped reading not too long after that. These are completely different. Oh, that would be, yeah, this is a Power Surge version. This was the last power card I needed that wasn't a DC power card. Have the old and I take that back. This is the one that somebody on eBay is trying to sell as a like it's a mistake. If it was a mistake, the twos would be printed backwards. But this is the base set, and they flipped it for the Power Surge set. So it's kind of funny just putting them like that. I think that's actually kind of cool. But the base sets have this smooth texture, and Power Surge has this kind of cloth-like material. I really don't know much about it. For the new rules, apparently they're getting rid of the 1, 2, and 3 for like all levels of play, which I think for the multis, which I think is kind of silly. I think they should be available for whatever kind of gameplay has all the cards. They should be in there. If you're going to make them one per deck like the new rules have it for the 3, 4, and 5, then do that. And then there's a lot of talk where these ones are going to just not, even if you can play the other ones in a one per deck, they say you can't play them because they don't have the intellect, and this gives you an unfair advantage. I say, have you played any other games? Like, let people do that, or maybe just do an errata and say that multis have all the type icons. Little black cat promo. Probably give that to my brother because I have one. Let's see. This is Electro. We'll see on the back. This is 1996, and we have a Hillshire Farms. We don't. Little Bishop. Man, Bishop. Love Bishop. He's probably one of my favorite newer X-Men characters, which is funny because he's probably 30 years old. But Bishop was just freaking cool when I was a kid. Loved this little comic series called District X, and it's one of those things. I enjoyed it. The art was kind of so-so, but in Marvel fashion, they canceled it after probably 10 issues. This one's kind of interesting. So I don't have the 8-3 here for Universe for the Wolverine, but the Power Surge, they actually never made an 8-3. Power Surge was basically a lot of these Universe cards are just reprinted, and you can see it's purple versus black. But yeah, they never made a Wolverine for that, which is probably just some kind of an oversight there. Most people don't use these. If you do, use the ones with the +3 because they're better than the other ones. Yes, a lot of these. I have quite a few of these. That one's a promo, but it's like a couple bucks. I don't know where it actually came from. I do know there's one of these that has a little error in it. So you can see this event card has a trademark or whatever down here. This one does not. So there's a version of this that has it and doesn't. There's a few little cards like that. So these ones were done by the great Joe Mad. Like, who doesn't love just looking at Joe Mad art? Like, just his proportions, everything's just so fun. There's so much style here. His X-Men run is probably one of my favorite runs art-wise. Man, I'd love to see him do some new art for the new Overpower stuff. If you can get Joe Mad, it's awesome. I like these new Power Surge ones. Like, it's basically the same card. I mean, it is the same card, just with new art. This Iceman is super goofy. And there's like the reprint on the 8. But a lot of these just had art that I really enjoyed. Um, it's so funny because I say that as I think that the colors on her face, all of them are just really, really muddy. Maybe I don't like them as much as I did, but I do appreciate that not all the base set everything is this. You know, all the fighting is this, just with different colors. We can see the 8 and this, this the 6 here. So at least they have a little bit of variety there. That's always the spice of life. This one's fun though. I think this is original Human Torch. This isn't the Fantastic Four ones. This is like the kind of a little World War II Kirby throwback. Hadn't noticed that before. Here's Sentry again. For whatever reason, I think tonight I'm gonna be like, who is Sentry? Training cards. Have a ton of these, and I don't really use them, but hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be hopefully opening some boxes soon. I'm pretty excited to see that stuff, and I guess I could have moved my camera up a little bit so you can see my piles while I'm just sitting there, but what'd you guys think? You guys played Overpower before? Know anything about it? Like this? Upvote it. Don't downvote it. Go for it. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys soon.